We are joined now by one of the president's closest allies in the Senate, Senator Lindsey Graham, a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. We saw him in the open. Senator Graham, thanks for joining us this morning. We just heard the president say he wants the FBI to do their job, that he would give them free rein. But the reports are that the instructions given to the FBI by the Senate leadership and by the White House actually have a quite limited witness list. Is that true?
I know that Senator Flake, Collins, and Murkowski wanted a limited review. They wanted to talk, the FBI to talk to the witnesses that Dr. Ford named. They want to talk to Mr. Ramirez because she refused to talk to the committee. They're going to ask Mark Judge, did you ever see Brett Kavanaugh drug women or engage in gang rape? And I think that's going to be the focus of it. So there won't be. So Julie Swetnick will not be interviewed by the FBI? I think the allegation that she makes is outrageous. Not one Democrat mentioned it, but Mark Judge, who's named by Ms. Swetnick, is being part of the gang rape and the drugging women, will be asked, did he ever see this happen, or did see Kavanaugh engage in it? I got a real echo here, so I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for that. I know we're trying to fix it as we speak. One of the questions, though, is it appears that the FBI will not be questioning those college witnesses who contradict Brett Kavanaugh's testimony about his drinking. Now, isn't that relevant, given that there clearly was drinking going on? At least it's alleged at the party. No, I think you're trying to portray him as a stumbling, bumbling drunk gang rapist who during high school and college was Bill Cosby. 6 FBI background checks over the years would have uncovered this. What we will investigate is who in Dianne Feinstein's office referred Dr. Ford to Ms. Katz. That's illegal, inappropriate in the Senate. So the FBI will do a supplemental background investigation. Then I'm going to call for an investigation of what happened in this committee, who betrayed Dr. Ford's trust, who in Feinstein's office recommended Katz as a lawyer. Why did Ms. Ford not know that the committee was willing to go to California? Who released the anonymous letter given to the committee by Cory Gardner? We're going to do a wholesale, full-scale investigation of what I think was a despicable process to deter it from happening again. Do you accept Dianne Feinstein's denial? Yes, she says that I do. To her, but only to her. She says that her staff didn't do it either. I respect, but somebody in her office, let's put it this way. If this was a Democratic nominee and an accuser came to Lindsey Graham's office and somebody in my office recommended a conservative activist lawyer, if you think they need a lawyer, why don't you tell the committee about it? That I did what was done here, hide the ball, disclose it after the fact, I would be destroyed. Ryan Grimm, who first wrote about the letter, says that it did not come from Dianne Feinstein's office. I don't know. All I can tell you is it came from somebody with a political motive. There were 3 people that had the letter, people in Feinstein's office, the congresswoman from California, and Ms. Katz and the legal team. No friend would do this to Dr. Ford. I believe her when she said she wanted to remain anonymous. I'm shocked. Not one media outlet's reporting the fact during the hearing she didn't know that the committee was willing to go to California. Again, if the shoe were on the other foot and Republicans had done this, we would be destroyed, would be under ethical investigation. So I'm going to make sure that when this debacle's over, that we look at what happened to deter it in the future. Are you convinced that if the FBI turns up no new allegations against Judge Kavanaugh, that I know you've met with Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and Jeff Flake, that he's going to be confirmed? I think so. I think what happened here is that these 3 senators, who are my friends, wanted the FBI to do what the committee has done. They wanted the FBI to talk to Mark Judge, PJ, and Ms. Kaiser. Ms. Kaiser's testimony was important to me. Ms. Kaiser never said, I don't believe Dr. Ford. But when Dr. Ford says, I was at this party where it happened, I wasn't there. I don't know Brett Kavanaugh. So she was confused as to me and me being there. So I think there will be testimony taken by the FBI from these witnesses. Ms. Ramirez will be interviewed by the FBI. And Mark Judge will be asked, did you ever witness Brett Kavanaugh drug or gang rape women? And I think that'll be the scope of it, and that should be the scope of it. Senator, isn't testimony about Judge Kavanaugh's drinking in college, if you're interviewing Deborah Ramirez, isn't that relevant?
He's had six FBI background checks. He's been on the political stage for 26 years. He's not a stumbling, bumbling drunk. I don't believe that you could have accomplished what he's accomplished, to have been a serial rapist in high school and stop it for the rest of your life. Not one person who he's been charged of during his legal career has ever said he did anything inappropriate. So the Devil's Triangle is not what people said on the internet. It is a drinking game. I think he's highly qualified. I think he's a capable man. I think he was his life was ruined here. I'm going to vote for him unless some bombshell comes out that I don't know about. And I'm going to look into the process that led to this debacle, to the effort to destroy this good man. A lot of people believe it's a noble cause to take down Kavanaugh. A lot of people in your business will never give scrutiny to people who try to take down a conservative. That's too bad, but I'm going to give it scrutiny.
One of the concerns raised by Democrats, including our next guest, Senator Mazie Hirono, is that Judge Kavanaugh's testimony on Thursday showed that he was a fierce partisan that doesn't have the right temperament for the Supreme Court. Want to show what she said?
Yeah. A partisan political operative with an agenda. The very worry that kept him from confirmation to the D.C. Circuit for 3 years. His own words reinforce the concern that I and many of us here have, that he cannot be a fair and impartial judge.
Your response?
My response to Senator Hirono, that I think the truth, you spoke truth, that you said the goal was to delay this hearing, to draw it out past the midterms, keep this seat open, and have it replaced by a Democrat in 2020. I'm offended by the fact that anybody would hold it against Brett Kavanaugh to be upset by the way he was treated. Words were put in his mouth that he didn't say. He's accused of being a gang rapist, a bumbling, stumbling drunk, a degenerate person, and he was hit by a truck. And my problem is with the people who did this to him, not how he responded. I've known him for 20 years. And we're going to get to the bottom of how he was treated, why he was treated this way. Senator Hirono said men need to shut up. I got this job from the men and women of South Carolina. I'm not going to shut up. I voted for Sotomayor and Kagan. I find it offensive that if somebody defends themselves against wholesale character assassination, trying to destroy him and his family, that the temperament I saw was a man who was innocent, who was rightly offended by being destroyed for a political purpose. So I can assure you that I do not share Senator Hirono's view of Judge Kavanaugh's temperament. My view is that he was treated very badly and he had every right to do what he did. He's going to be a great judge and he's going to be on the Supreme Court.
Other experts have suggested that if he does indeed get on the Supreme Court, he might have to recuse himself from suits brought by Democrats in Congress or by liberal groups.
Yeah. Well, what a new standard here. You destroy a man's life, then you say he's unfit to judge you because of the way you treated him. We're not going to play that game. This is not going to be the future of the nomination process in the committee, where you accuse a guy of being a gang rapist, an alcoholic, bumbling, stumbling, sexual predator, and you get upset when he forcefully fights back against liberal smears. This will not be the new standard of temperament. He has never demonstrated anything in his life, George, to suggest that these allegations are true. Dr. Ford, something happened to her, but she can't tell us the time, the place, and everybody named said they don't know what she's talking about. She was as abused as much as he was. Somebody betrayed her trust for a political purpose. They hid this from the committee. They sprung it on us to delay the hearing. Somebody leaked an anonymous letter to make the fourth allegation. The fifth allegation was knocked down as being false, but it went to the media anyway. So I'm just completely disgusted the way this was handled. And he's going to be on the bench, but we're going to continue to look at this process, because if this is the new normal, God help the next person who comes.
You mentioned Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. You said she was abused by the Democrats. On Sean Hannity's program, you seem to suggest she has a problem. I want to play that.
I am now more convinced than ever that he didn't do it, that he's the right guy to be on the court, that Miss Ford has got a problem, and destroying Judge Kavanaugh's life won't fix her problem.
She has a problem?
Yeah, I think she does. I think it was clear to me that something happened to Miss Ford. She's led an accomplished life. But we have to look at this through some prism. I don't assume that he's guilty and he's got to prove to me he's not. This is a very serious accusation 36 years ago. To me, she was troubled by something. But when it comes to Brett Kavanaugh, he emphatically denied it. He went through his diary. Everything we know about him suggests he's not this kind of person. The people that she claimed were there said they don't know what she's talking about. She couldn't remember how she got there and how she got back. My problem is not with Dr. Ford. I really believe she was horribly treated. Whoever betrayed her trust to remain anonymous.
But she says she's 100% certain. She says she's 100%. She says she's 100% certain it was Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. I've been a lawyer for a long time, and you look at the accusation, and it has to be corroborated. And here's what I'm 100% certain of. When she said Miss Kaiser was at that party, she was wrong. When she claims that, when people claim that Brett Kavanaugh, not just her, is a bumbling, stumbling drunk who drugs women, is a gang rapist, I don't believe it. I have a lot of sympathy for what Dr. Ford's gone through, but the allegations did not hold up. She can file a complaint in Maryland, a criminal complaint. It will not get out of the batter's box. If you're accused of a crime in this country, you have to be put on notice of when it happened, where it happened, and there has to be some corroboration. So this complaint will never get legs in the legal system, but it can go forward. But I'll promise you this committee, I hope Senator Grassley, will do what I've suggested. Investigate the abuse here. Who leaked anonymous letters? Who referred Dr. Ford to a lawyer that was a political activist? Did anybody in the committee betray her trust by sending it to the media so the hearing would be delayed? Why did she not know that we were willing to go to California? How did that happen? Could her lawyers possibly have not told her that? If these lawyers did not tell her that we're willing to go to California to avoid this debacle, I want to know that and hold them accountable.
Senator Graham, thanks for your time this morning. I apologize for those problems with the sound.